Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon session on stroke rehabilitation, the key to success. This is a continuation of the series of webinars and other discussions that we have had over the past 3 to 4 months. And this is an attempt to bring together the specialists as well as people who have a lived experience of stroke, who have suffered from stroke, or the caregivers who take care of people who have suffered stroke to join together on a common platform and discuss issues, learn from the experts, and listen to them and ask their questions so that some of their doubts and some of their key questions that are there in their minds can be answered. I am Dr. Ratna and I represent an organization called Dakshima Health. This is a secretariat for an organization called Indian Alliance of Patient Groups, which is a cross-sectoral patient representative body having over 60 plus organizations across the spectrum of diseases. One of our initiatives is Stroke Support Alliance, where we bring together all stroke survivors to work together, not only to understand the challenges that they face, but also to come across some common solutions that we can jointly present to the government and to the policymakers. It is my pleasure to invite two very good speakers to our session today. We have with us Dr. Abhishek Srivastav, who is the Director, Center for Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation at Kokilaben Ambani Hospital. He has got over 18 years of experience and has advanced experience in rehabilitation, especially training in neurological rehabilitation and further specialization in management of patients with disorders of consciousness, robotics, and hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Welcome, Dr. Srivastav. We also have a caregiver of a stroke patient, Mr. Mayur Mehta, who is an advocate by profession, and we will be listening to him later today during the session. So I would like to invite Dr. Abhishek to present his views and to talk to us about stroke and rehabilitation and why it is key to recovery. Thank you, Dr. Abhishek Srivastav. Sir, you need to...
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Ratna. Can I share my slides, please? Are the slides visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Ratna and the Stroke Support Alliance for this opportunity to interact with different stroke survivors and caregivers. I will speak about advancing in stroke rehab, the key to recovery. And if you all see, we have patients who come to us with scans like this, relatives come with scans like this, a bad stroke in the left brain, again, dominant brain involvement, big strokes, big brain damage. We all think we're lying in the ICU somewhere at 1 year. We'll show you in the end how with the help of rehab, we can make them better. They can be independent in the community in long term. So what does stroke means? For a patient, it's end of the road, big damage to the brain. For a family, it's beginning of burden. For us, it is interventions, how to make him better. For organization, it's investment. Lots of money is being involved. And for nation, a lot of disability, which affects the overall productivity of the country. Always remember, no two strokes are alike. And no two stroke patient with similar MRI behaves similarly because we can't see the damage in the brain inside. The comorbidities are different, the age is different, gender is different, the environment is different. So two stroke patients with same MRI can behave differently. Always remember, medicine has four facets now. First is promotive medicine. We all know health promotion. Second is preventive. We can take vaccination. Third is curative. Can we cure the stroke? We can if they come in time to some extent minor strokes. But fourth and most important facet of medicine right now is rehabilitative medicine. And I am a rehab medicine practitioner who treats strokes after 24 hours, 48 hours, once the initial part has been taken care of. So can we change the brain? When I was studying medicine, I was told stroke patient, don't waste time, put him in the veranda and somewhere in the bed and send them home in 24 hours time because we don't know how to treat them. This was 25 years back when I was studying medicine. Now, stroke care has changed significantly. I will see how it is being changed. So stroke rehab is the philosophy it has to be carried out. It includes so many things. It includes so many things. The main focus of treatment is therapy. Therapy in first 24 hours to burst the clot or to retrieve the clot or to open the brain to remove the clot. In next 3 months, therapy by physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, solo therapy, robotics, whatever we can do to maximize the function we can get back. Beyond 3 to 6 months, it is adjustment to the life, to what you have. If you have a stroke, whatever remains, your recovery is peaking at 6 months, 12 years, how to adjust with that, how to make you more functional, disability. So primarily it's therapy, and the main stay is therapy. I will talk about what we can do beyond conventional therapy today. What is new? What we can do now beyond conventional therapy to help our stroke patients? There are multiple things now which have come. The 12, 13 things have come in last 10 years, which is the advances in stroke rehab. This is what we can do beyond conventional therapy to help our stroke patients. We'll see one by one. First is called as impairment-based approach. So what is an impairment? Any person with stroke can have these 9, 10 problems. Aphasia means difficulty in speech and language. Cognition means memory, attention. They can have change in behavior. They can be aggressive. They can be depressed. Dysarthria has change in tonality of speech. Dysphagia means difficulty in swallow. Anopia means visual problems. Anesthesia means sensory problems. Hemiplegia means motor problems, weakness and stiffness, spasticity, and incontinence. So any stroke patient can have a mixed bag of 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, or 9, all these 10 problems. So our job in rehab as a rehab physician is to identify all these problems in detail and treat them, all each one of them, with the help of medications, our therapy team, technology, all together. Because if you don't do that, it'll cause disability. Disability is primarily of 5 types: mobility, not walking, mobility, going from one place to another. ADL means self-care. They're dependent to take bath, eat themselves. Cognition, their thinking, memory, planning abilities, their communication and solo problems. They can't speak, they can't eat, and they have incontinence. So we have to, and if you remember, even in good centers, this is our study published 20 years back actually. At that time, at discharge, disability was very, very high. But now with new interventions, all be reduced to half. So what we have to do, we call this 666 concept. We have to give therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, solo therapy, psychotherapy, robotics, HBOT, all what we can do on all these specific domains. So PT will do mobility and self-care domain, OT will do self-care domain, cognitive domain, like and so on. So all these impairments have to be managed along with medical management by these complementary therapy approaches to maximize the recovery they can have. Second concept called as neuroplasticity. It's what we do actually in rehab. So remember, if someone has a stroke, there are 2 types of recovery. One is called a spontaneous recovery. आपने कुछ भी नहीं किया, something will change in first 3 to 6 months because injury will settle down, edema will reduce, some things will happen in the brain, and some recovery will happen. But this will plateau by 3 to 6 months. That's why we say you can't do much in stroke after first 3 to 6 months, but it is wrong. Second is functional recovery. It is purely dependent upon what therapy patient, what rehab patient is getting. There's no timelines for that. Mayur will tell you 3 months, 6 months is not right. People can change after six
Right.
months also if they get good care. Second is called as 2 concepts in rehab. So even rehab is a 2 type, a compensatory concept. You can't walk, you give a stick. Well recognized, nothing great. Second is remediation rehab. Can we improve his motor power so he can walk? Can we make him to talk again? Can we make him to eat again? That is still not understood well in rehab because a lot of new research has come in the last 10 years to show that we can remediate many functions now. So what happens in first few hours, first day after stroke? Some part of brain dies, that is called as penumbra. So there's a clot in the artery of the brain which will damage some part of the brain. The central part of the brain, which is completely dead, is called as core. Some surrounding part is partially damaged. That is called as penumbra, which is salvageable. So if you come in first 4.5 hours, a neurology friend will give you a drug, a clot busting drug called as Alteplase, so we can burst the clot. If you come in first 24 hours, our intervention colleagues can put us from an artery, put a small guide wire, remove the clot, so that we can get more blood to the brain to reperfuse the damaged brain. If it is very much big clot causing swelling in the brain, we have to do a surgery to remove the bone flap by doing a craniectomy. This is all established in medicine, all to give new blood to the injured part of the brain. What we don't know, we can start some drugs very, very early, which can improve especially language function and motor function in long term after strokes. And what happens in first 3 to 6 months is very, very important. Brain recognize additional areas to perform new function. That's called as compensation. Or other parts of brain take over function. That's called as diagonalization. This ability of brain to change in response to a stimulus is called as neuroplasticity. So what are we doing in therapy is to trigger the plasticity. We can do it by two means. One is called as intensive training concept by therapy. You make them use their hand again and again in a functional way, task specific training, they will gain more hand function. That's called as experience dependent plasticity. Second is called as biological treatment, robotics, pharmacological agents, medication, current stimulation. We can remodify the neural circuits. So if you do therapy, you get some more circuit formation, but you can add a current, a magnetic stimulation, or a medication to fire those circuits. That's how whole rehab concept happens after stroke. Third important differentiator is called as continuum of care concept. In India, we don't have this concept primarily. Patient come to the hospital, ICU for a day, few days in the hospital, 10 days medically stable, sent home because there is no continuum of care. One, patient cannot pay. Second, insurance doesn't cover long-term rehab. And third, inpatient rehab facility is not available. You only have therapy centers in the outpatient, but they can't take severely impaired patients. So what we need is to develop this continuous care model. When patient has an acute stroke, neurologically unstable, he has to be in intensive care unit. Once he's neurologically stable, comes to a stroke unit. Once he has significant deficits, in spite of having best stroke treatment, acute inpatient, you have what actually I run in our hospital. When the tubes are removed, they're medically stable. You can come to a daycare center. We run that. People come in morning, do therapy whole day, go home in the evening. Those who have minor deficits come every day for outpatient care. And last is the home or family based concept. So as a policy initiative in government or hospitals, all of us should encourage to develop this care pathway. If you have this care pathway, you can take your stroke patient right from the ICU to long-term home-based care model. Now, next concept called the STEAM approach. So, especially physicians, all of us are trained in my model of care. मैं ऐसे करता हूँ. It's a medical model of care, good for surgical intervention, where one person does everything. There's no team formation. But in rehab, we need a team, a big team, a team like this. A neurologist, a neurosurgeon, a rehab medicine physician like me, nurses, physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech pathologists, psychologists, social workers, orthotists, music therapists, who all are focused on patient-directed treatment, goal-oriented approach. And there are two key models available now these days. One is called as a multidisciplinary model or a pyramid model, where one person leads the team, give work to everyone, discuss the work every week with them, and take it forward. Second is an interdisciplinary model where everybody sees the patient, each have individual rights, but they all still discuss every week. So this is a model for beginners, pyramid model, matrix is a model for advanced healthcare systems. But if you don't follow a team concept, don't follow these models in rehab, you can't succeed. Then came drugs. So as physicians, we want to start some medications. Now, there are medications to prevent stroke, called as primary prevention. There are medications to prevent secondary stroke, like blood thinners. We all know about ecosprin, clopidogrel. These are drugs to prevent strokes, primary or secondary. We start a drug called as atorvastatin to reduce the fat content in the artery, reduce the bad cholesterol. Beyond that, are there any medication for stroke recovery? Very few have come. Some drugs have come for arousal. People who have very severe strokes and who are not conscious of waking up in the ICUs, the drug called as amantadine helps them to wake up from a comatose state. Then there are drugs to improve speech-language pathways, especially donepezil helps in Wernicke's aphasia or people who have sensory comprehension problems. A drug called as memantine, which helps in motor aphasia, people to speak better. There are drugs which can show some changes in the motor movement. So the people always ask me, like, did you able to walk or not? Beyond therapy, there are some medication. These four medications have been tried extensively. Infloxacin has shown some role in Europe in European studies. Ceblacin is a new drug has shown some change in the hand function again in European studies, but still it is not documented yet in a full trial. It can change, make a big change in movement recovery after stroke. Then another differentiator is tracheostomy care. We all are afraid of tracheostomies. What to do? Can we go home with a tracheostomy? Can we manage a tracheostomy in a simple ward care model? We can do that. So tracheostomy has two parts. One is a part here, which is inside the throat, and there's a cuff outside that we inflate, deflate the air, and there's a tube for suction. You can do a simple test called as a dye test, give some colored liquid in the mouth, and then check if it's coming in suction or not. If it's coming, it means person is aspirating the saliva. If not, it means he has passed the dye test. That's step number one. To pass the dye test, we all have something called as fluoroscopy in our X-ray unit in the hospital. We can do a fluoroscopic study. We give food. Guy already has tracheostomy. We give him food and see where food is going. If it goes straight, it is in the esophagus. If it comes in front, it goes to trachea. This is food pipe. This is windpipe. We can find out is the food going right track or not? Is it getting stuck somewhere in the side of the neck or not? If you pass this test, you can start feeding even with tracheostomy. Then there's a valve called a speaking valve, passive speaking valve, which you can put over tracheostomy. So if a person is not aphasic, he can speak with a tracheostomy, he can eat with a tracheostomy. Both are possible. And if you follow this model, you can remove tracheostomy in 70-80% of your patients, which reduce the cost of care at home in long term. The per day cost of care of a stroke patient at home who needs 12-hour nursing, 2 shifts, is 1 lakh rupees per month because of the care required for tracheostomy. If you remove tracheostomy, cost of care comes to suddenly to 20% of that. So it's a big differentiator in long term how we can reduce the care, cost of care in severe stroke injured patients in long term. There's also a system called as VitalStim. It's a FDA approved device to stimulate the swallow muscles and speech muscles by external stimulation along with therapy. If you do that, you can decandidate many of your stroke patients. You can improve swallow function in most of your stroke patients who have bad weakness because of big strokes. Another point is robotics. So robotics are machines which can make a person walk or use the hand. The whole concept is neuroplasticity. The different type of systems available in robotics now, 5 different systems are available. Most commonly is exoskeleton-based systems, foot plate-based systems, or the overground system. This is mainly for spinal cord injury. These two are mainly used for stroke patients. So what it does, this is a robot. This is a robot which makes a person walk. You wear this robotic system on a treadmill with the body weight support harness to offload your body weight with the feedback in front of you. So any stroke patient day 5 who can stand can be made to walk. Why to make him walk? Because God has made legs to walk, not to exercise. So you start training very, very early in first few weeks after stroke. Signals go to the brain, alternate pathways form in the brain, and new movements come. This is evidence based now in Cochrane review. So it's a body weight support harness, it's a robotic system, treadmill, And it's a good, it's a, with the feedback, you can see how much effort you're putting. It's not passive. This is active assistive training. The evidence, same for the upper limb also, multiple machines have come now. 20 different machines have come for upper limb. This is our hand studio. We have 3 different machines. It's an army of power. And there is no power in the upper limb. We use an army of power system. Again, you're doing it using your hand with a functional activity, not a passive movement. You're doing a task on the computer, which is cutting an apple, driving a car. So these games are culturally relevant. We're doing daily activities. And it is active assistive training. You are doing what you can. What you can't, robot will help you to do that task. This called as, I mean, it is only for hand function. She's driving a car, therefore robotic system, which is daily activity. Now, evidence has shown that every fifth dependency in stroke can be avoided if you start training on robotics in first few weeks. It will not make a person, and it's only for non-ambulatory patients, not for walking patients. Those who can't walk, robot will help. If you're already walking, robot not to help you much. Again, same thing for upper limb, they will help you main in first 6 months. So upper limb robotics are mainly used in first 6 months. Lower limb can be used at 1 2 years also in non-ambulatory patients. Those who are able to walk but still drag their foot, there's a system called as FES system, where you can put a small device, you can wear a small device which stimulates your peroneal nerve here, so you can get an ankle oscillation movement when you're walking, which you're on the ground. So virtual reality, we all have Xbox in our house now. So Xbox, you can play a game. Suppose you have upper limb weakness and you can't do exercise. You can buy, on Xbox, you can actually play a tennis or a table tennis game or a badminton game, which is again functional training. You can play football for your lower limb recovery. And evidence has shown that gives you good outcome in long-term stroke care, especially for upper limb function. Now there is mental practice. We all rehearse our talks. We are trying to put focus on our brain. How will I present my slides today? Same way, if you practice your movements in your brain, in your mind every day before doing it, it helps. Doesn't cost anything. Mirror therapy, very underutilized. You choose mirror therapy in order to treat phantom limb pain. Now, people have shown if you use mirror therapy training, especially for upper limb recovery, there's something called as mirror neurons in our brain, which can take over function. Good to reduce neglect, good to improve upper limb function, especially in stroke patients in first 6 months. You all know these something is called as orthosis. Most commonly, orthosis is being used in stroke patients as an AFO or ankle foot orthosis. We used to do this thing in the polio days. Now we have joint brake system, leaf spring AF. We also have a carbon AFOs now, which is very lightweight. They make people walk better, their balance is better, they have less falls. Also, new concept comes called as CIMT, constraint induced movement therapy. What happens after stroke? You have got initially there was no power in the upper limb. You don't use your hand. Now power has come at 3 months partially, but brain has forgotten. You always use the left hand. So if you start training with your upper limb every day, 3 hours per day, with the involved extremity, it improves motor function. This is called a CIMT, doesn't cost anything. Can run at home care in long term. Then came to something called as newer things is hyperbaric oxygen therapy. What is HBOT? It's a machine which can give you oxygen at high atmospheric pressure, at about 2 times normal. This high atmospheric pressure, you will inhale that oxygen, which go to your dissolved plasma, and more oxygen go to your injured part of the brain. It's a good thing to add in the first few days after stroke. With people with massive strokes who undergo brain surgery because of massive decompression, we use in some of our patients, and we have shown that those patients who have massive stroke who requires decompression surgeries, 50% are living at home. Those got HBOT in the first few months. It's only for severe stroke, not for normal strokes. Music therapy. Music has multiple components. You can see people playing it, you can hear the prosody, the tonality. It stimulates multiple parts of the brain. See this guy who has a stroke and was very aggressive, not eating. Just simple one raga is calmed down and he's trying to speak along with them. He can't speak otherwise single word. He's very, very aggressive. It is calming him down. He's trying to speak. We assessed our role of music therapy in our patients who have significant massive strokes, and it has shown it improved the glaucoma scale as well as the CRS scale function in massive stroke patients. Also, we forget something called as cognition. So, person has a stroke, all tubes are removed, he's walking, talking, but he can't go back to work because there are many hidden parts. So, most of the frontal part of the brain or temporal part of the brain takes care of emotions, behavior, initiation, problem solving, judgment, monitoring, motor planning, awareness, and so on, which we don't see in day-to-day activities. That's called as cognitive and behavioral deficits, which are very common, happen in one third of stroke patients. So they can walk, take care of himself, but can't go to work, they can't do multitasking. That requires they have to be assessed. So all stroke patients in long term who want to go back to work have to be assessed for cognitive deficit. Multiple scales are available now. Medications are available now to help them, but the mainstay is called as cognitive rehab. Need a trained neuropsychologist and occupational therapist to work with them to improve their attention, their concentration, thinking, memory, planning, so they can go back to work and their living. Last things, so what's new is called as brain computer interface. So BCI is called short form is BCI. Whole concept is can we use the brain signal and do a task and bypass our limbs? Is it possible? This lady, if you remember a movie called as Ravan from Shah Rukh Khan, this girl was the animator for that movie. She herself had a severe spinal cord injury at C4 level. She only had this movement, nothing else in her hands and legs. Zero. Simple, it's actually a gaming device called as neurofeedback headset. With this headset, we're able to translate her to use a head move to type on the computer. She started typing, started teaching, went back to her native place, worked for 4 years for primary school tuitions, passed away a few years back because of massive infections. But simple technology can help you to communicate and earn a living in spite of having severe deficits. Last thing, something called as physician supervised programs. So in severe strokes, those require hospital admission for long term, and organized post-acute stroke care by a physician supervised multidisciplinary team whose work was coordinated to regular weekly meetings, regular rehab, help. Every word is important. Post-acute care, physician supervised, multidisciplinary team, weekly meetings, dedicated to rehab, they deliver better than a formal model of care of no team. Just see some cases in short. This guy was running a Mumbai marathon, had a massive cardiac arrest and a stroke while running the marathon 3 years back. And he was transferred to us after a few months, after a few weeks of stroke, and he wanted him walking. And he had a massive, massive cardiac arrest. Another guy, I think Kuldeep is here, I believe. See his brain, he has a massive brain damage. But he's at 1 year and 3 years, he works himself now. He's independent. This boy, again, has a massive, massive brain damage in the left side. Came to us at 6 weeks. He's at 6 months at discharge. Another patient with massive brain injury, multiple fractures, multiple issues. It came at 2 years, ambulatory, still ambulatory. Another boy with a brain injury. This called is FDG PET scan of a brain. This part of brain, if it's yellow and red, means it's working. If it's blue, it's not working. This part is not working. Still, he can walk, talk, and eat, and he's still improving. So he's young. The last patient has a postpartum ischemic cardiomyopathy. Her heart pumping was only 15%. She was told, don't move at all. This is a functional MRI of the brain. So all white part is the damaged part of the brain. Massive stroke in the motor area. These are the supplementary motor areas for hand and ankle movements. Intensive training, be able to trigger newer part of brain to take over function. That's how she became ambulatory, completely independent. She became so good that underwent a heart transplant after 3 years of stroke. Now live independently alone in interior of Maharashtra. So remember this slide for your life. This is all stroke rehab is. We all know we can reperfuse the brain in first few hours by a clot busting agent or by clot removal or by a surgery. It happens in the first 24 hours, 4, 8 and 24 hours. Swelling will reduce in first few weeks. Something will start happening. This will die down by first 6 weeks. In first few days, brain try to change itself, called as spontaneous synchronization, that dies down by 3 months. That's why we say 3 months के बाद stroke में कुछ नहीं होता. But you start something here, first 4 to 6 weeks, 666 concept of intensive training by multiple modalities, with technology, with medication, multiple therapies, impairment focused approach, you get something new, which is called as training induced reorganization. That doesn't die very soon. It can help you beyond 3 6 months to 1 year, 2 years also. So initially, focus on rehab 20 years back was disability management, social model of care. If you can't walk, give a wheelchair, give a stick. We have never focused on setting up rehab hospital. We focus on giving free things from the government. And whatever abilities we have, we forgot to use them. That's called learn non use. एक तो पहले से डिसेबिलिटी है, जो एबिलिटी था वो भी छीन लिया, because we have focused them to make them better. So the current intention of rehab is to treat the impairment. If you treat the impairment, actually prevent a disability to happen in long term. That is the mantra of current modern rehab. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Srivastava. That is amazing. I mean, it gives so much of hope to so many people who think, as you rightly said, that if you've not done something within the first 6 months, then it's a lost case and there's nothing that can be done. But over the last few months, we've been hearing again and again that there are interventions and therapies that actually can help people to recover. Even if they do miss that initial opportunity of getting a good, physiotherapy rehabilitation center. There are a few questions, but before I take the questions, with your permission, I would like to invite Advocate Mayur Mehta to share with us, how he has cared for his father and what his experience has been as a caregiver.
Very warm welcome to all for inviting me here. As Sir rightly said, that therapy is the only key word, and from the first day of the stroke till 3 years, we have continued the therapy thing. It's been 3 years for my father, but the therapy is still the must as food. Today also, we are having almost once a day therapy, even in the COVID alternate day therapies, and that has given us immense result. I would like to go little behind the stroke. As I would like to say that in neuro cases generally they give some hints before happening. Especially in my father's case, I could like to share that it had given us a lot of hints, and generally these hints get overlooked. Nobody takes them seriously. Like things started to fall, some imbalance, and they were missed by us. That we would like to say. 2 hours before the stroke, it was 4th May around 11 o'clock. 2 hours before the stroke, he was a lot of restlessness in his body. He was going to pass urine. He was not in the mood to eat food, and all these were all common things. And immediately at 12 o'clock, the stroke happened. When the stroke itself happened, generally he started to puke, and he was a bit drowsy, nausea. So he told us, "Okay, let me rest. I'll be fine by in the morning," and all that. Immediately, parents called us. My mom called me and all that, and immediately he told us to make me lie down. Morning, I'll be fine. So immediately I took a video of that, and one of our close family doctors, Dr. Sharath Shanna, I thought it's a gastro-related thing, because we were celebrating 35 years anniversary of my father. So then maybe because of out eating something, he's puking. But immediately, sir was, I can recollect very well, sir was on his Mauritius holidays. Immediately in 10 minutes, sir replied, they rush him to the nearest hospital. It is not normal. So just not seeing left, not seeing right, I just rushed to a hospital. And as we go to the the emergency ward there, so we thought that it's maybe something relating to outside food and all that things related. But immediately in 5-10 minutes, we were told it's a stroke. So I thought it's a heart stroke with one stand or something. It will rise off. Then we were asked, do you know a neurologist? So generally in our day-to-day life, the brain is the most neglected part of the body, which I would like to say. Everybody knows about cardiologists, cosmetologists, all different dentists, but brain neurologist. My first introduction with the word neuro was in the emergency room there. So I asked, what is neurologist? So he told, okay, your father has got a stroke. I told, yeah, tomorrow morning in a day or two, we put a stand and it will be normal. So he told, no, he has got a brain stroke. And that was the time my total, I was shut down. Okay, now what to happen? And within 15 minutes, his body was wired from everywhere, from top to bottom, everywhere. It was a massive stroke because what I could, with the research or like why it happened and all, he was on doses of Ecosprin 75. And as sir rightly told, it is very good in secondary recovery, first recovery for neuro related, but also it is also a big cause of neuro problems also. So I feel it should be very well monitored. It should be given for 6 months, 3 months prescription before going ahead with the medicine. It should be again rechecked by a doctor again if required, because I feel one of the reasons in my dad's case is overuse of Ecosprin. I clearly remember Dr. Sharat Shenoy, he had told me before also, before leaving cake, please get it consulted 8-10 days prior to. And my dad's Ecosprin doses had stopped, but he thought his strip is there, why to waste it? I'll feel much better. And that was the reason. I still remember when my father was getting operated, we were given 1% chance. Okay, yeah, the stroke is massive. He has got 1% recovery chance. I was being given a lot of counseling, being a youngster, okay, who's the earning member, you know what will be the consequences and all. So I asked only one question, okay, what are the recovery chances in? So I was told single 1-digit chance. But after with some support of the family people and all that, I took that 1% chance. I would like to say, okay, youngsters, whoever are listening, whenever it comes to science, medical science, if it gives you a percentage chance, you should always take that chance. Wherever there is risk, there is a reward attached to it. 1% recovery chance, and I'm sure my journey with Dr. Srivastav, now my dad, from 1% recovery, now he is able to go to his terrace and have his evening walks there. So that is a journey of 3 years of my father. From I can very well recollect that day, 4th May 2018, where I was running ends to ends to, just to get the cranotomy was the word. The operation suggested to me cranotomy, that also 1% chance with trying to meet, because neuro doesn't give you chance. Like if someone is going for a transplant or going for cancer treatment, he's mentally prepared. Okay, on this date, I have to go through this kind of expenses and these will be the outcome. He has to get admitted. Neuro don't give you any chances. You have to, just like it happens, and you have to be ready. And in neuro, what another thing I would like to mention, it happens repeatedly. Even if you're done it once, it is just like snakes and ladders. Wherever, if you miss out something, if you're a bit lethargic, again it comes back. So you have to be very cautious with your medications. In my journey of 3 years now, this 4th May, definitely I'll be celebrating my dad's 3rd birthday post stroke. Otherwise, I would have been celebrating his death anniversary if I wouldn't have taken that 1% chance. I would have let him go. I'm being a practicing advocate. Most of the cases which assigned to me are very with the decimal chances of winning and all that. But still, we pick up those cases only where the chances are minimum. We try very hard. We research a lot. Eventually, we win, and many of the cases are documented in public. So from there, we get the gist. Even if there is 1% chance, even if the medical science is saying 1%, because medical science himself says that I am in the process of getting better and better. As rightly told by Sir K, 2 years or 20 years back, there was study on disability management, and now we have a new word as rehab. It's very new word. It's a rehab. 20 years back, everything was like disability management. So in 2 decades, there has been a lot of change. And coming back to my father, as Sir Abhishek Srivastav rightly mentioned, 9 issues. My father had all 9 issues. All 5 problems: mobility, ADL, communication, bladder, all. It was it's a perfect case for research and study. Gone through one stroke, brain hemorrhagic stroke, goes through uh, craniotomy, does the tracheostomy, and he gets 2 more stroke in ICU itself. The most safest place on earth is ICU. He gets 2 more anemic strokes. Like, I'm getting used to these medical words, anemic stroke, tracheostomy, and all that, So one side it's bleeding and another side it's blocked. So there was nothing. Like, the patient is the medical field, the doctors then because his blood pressure was not coming under a range. It was, even after stroke, it was 170 by 110, 170 by 110. Then on 10th May, I could clearly remember Dr. JP Jadwani, intensivist at Holy Family Hospital. Sir introduced me. There was no medication it could work on him. Even if we know the stroke, the ischemic stroke can be treated, but since one side it's bleeding, so we cannot operate it. But to just leave it to God. So I was introduced with a golden word known as faith. Dr. Jadwani gave me a very golden word, have faith in God. That's the only word which whenever I meet something in regard to my father, it comes there. It's a journey. Something will happen, 6 months, a year, there will be small, if you're very particular with your rehab, some small events will happen, but faith is the golden word what one has to get connected. In case of my father, 23 days ventilator, 28 days ICU, 56 days first hospitalization, and he comes back. I was multiple times told that he will be a vegetable, he will be a vegetable, you're investing on a vegetable, your father will be a vegetable. All said, all done. I went through the craniotomy, tracheostomy got removed, as rightly sir told, the ink therapy, all that was, and I made sure I cannot go home with tracheostomy because it has impact on all the other members also of the family. The cough, the pain the person goes through, the patient goes through. 56 days and we come back, just the patient is lying on the bed, nothing to do. The caretakers, they have their TVs on from 6 o'clock. Because the patient is not moving, he just has eye blinks, not able to talk, walk, nothing. And it would kill me from inside. It would kill me literally. After 56 days, all this thing, and I have a patient. I've converted my house into an ICU that time in 2018. Initially, I converted into a typical ICU. The except ventilator, all machines I had installed in my house. Everything was there. All machines from pressure monitoring to all leg wrapping for giving him a CRP emergency. As sir rightly said, two therapists, morning one shift, evening one shift, and it was draining. But I had just only one word, that was called faith. Then one day I realized, now what is next in life, what to do. I started my search for rehab. From Kulaba to Dahisar in Greater Mumbai, there was not even a single center where I didn't visit. Everywhere I went to check where can I just get this ball moving. And the golden rule of 6 months, I was aware. These 6 months you can get your father maximum, because there is a lot of social stigma attached to you in the society with a neuro patient. Like they are, even if you want to take them out on a wheelchair, people will see them, "Arey, kya ho gaya?" Like there is no public atmosphere available here. Even if you want to take him to a garden for a fresh air, people will surround you, they will check all the pipes attached to you, and it's like a person, once he meets a stroke, life is almost the end. And at home, you're seeing him lying on the bed. Day is coming, the staff is coming, he's going, another staff will come, he'll go, and there was no activity at all. So I just made a mind one day, no, I have to change this system anyhow. From Kulava to Dahisar, all almost rehab centers I went, but I would state very thoroughly, I couldn't find any rehab center which has got something assurance, some positivity to share, and to give me some assurances. Yes, there is a rehab. It is always possible. Seeing my father's MRI report, one side ischemic stroke, one side hemorrhage. Most of the people were like, this person would have died 3-4 months back. Definitely, it was that bad report. But one person I'd gone to a center, a studio like a center in Andheri. I remember very well today itself. I waited for the doctor from 10 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock. The doctor was on some tours and all that. I waited almost 3 to 4 hours, and my meeting with him ended in 1.5 minutes. So I came out very sad from that room. So his peon told me, okay, sir, I'm telling you what assurance you want. There is only one place that you'll get. He told me, go to Kokilaben Hospital. Now, after 56 days of hospitalization, 24 days, hearing the word hospital again, even till today, when I'm very tired, I can still hear that ICU ka ting, ting, that sound still connects with me. So then I was introduced to Kokilaben Hospital Rehab. So considering the word hospital again, I was scared. My father was the only earning member. Now, how to start a journey against like climbing in Mount Everest, coming back again rewards, but still I tried. I went there, and when I visited sixth floor of Kokilaben Hospital, I saw life was celebrated there. It was not an hospital. Everywhere there was life celebrated. Even if the patient is on a ventilator, on an oxygen, he was doing some exercise. The bed could stand. Like I was mesmerized by that scenario. I was very eagerly waiting. When will I get my father there? Then I had a word with Dr. Abhishek Srivastav. Sir gave us a very detailed plan how to do what exercises, very well introduced to robotics, very well introduced to Botox. Botox played a very important role in my father's recovery. The limp, the left limp, it was almost joint like this. But now today, as I would assure you that he is going for his evening walks on the terrace, and that also via steps. So rehab plays a very, very important role. 4 to 5 months of rehab we have done from Bandra to Andheri, every day going, every day in between the Mumbai monsoons, the car breaking, the what, but nothing stopped us. And the first word I was told in regard to my father, I used to ask, hey, it's been 4 5 months, I have not heard my father. When will I hear him? I was like, when will he eat? So I was always told कि कोई भी जूना वीडियो उठा के अपने फादर का आवाज सुन लो, आप ये कभी बोलने वाला है नहीं. And I still remember very well when I was in the speech therapy department at Kokilaben, and my father immediately after like 2 3 months of training and all that, he started calling my sister's name Mitu, 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 Mitu. So I was like, maybe it's a daydreaming. How come I can hear this like back of my mind? But when I entered the therapy center, I could literally see it's my father and he's calling for my sister. That moment I have recorded in my complete journey of my father, from his falling off the stroke to his first steps of walking, my first handshake, to the first hug to my mom. Everything is possible if you yourself want to do it. There is nothing is impossible. I would like to add to it some of the things of my journey, which I would like to little bit share with the caregivers, universal caregivers who are there. I would like to say that during this phase, one shouldn't take any untimely decisions. When this stroke or this emergency thing happens, a lot of people, the people surrounding you will force you with a lot of emergency decisions. Do this, do that. Just don't do anything. Take one thing at a time. Just don't do anything. They will tell you, okay, make these. They will put you into some litigation papers. They will ask you to do the pending jobs of life. This. Just don't do anything. Just listen to one person, that is yourself. And second, I would say just 1 2 people who are very close to you, who are very concerned about you. Just have a team of 2 3 people guiding you. One shouldn't go very much in detail, because you may end up taking wrong decisions, which I myself have end up taking in those crucial period of 1 2 months when my father was in hospital. Hundreds of things were pointed out, that this may be the reason, this may be the reason, that may be the reason, and we take some decision, and then after 3 years I feel that I am repenting about it. I have told that ICU is the most safest place on earth for a stroke patient. And to a person gets a second stroke in ICU itself, in my father's half brain ischemic stroke, half brain there is a hemorrhagic stroke. But there also the only golden word that which was introduced to me by Dr. JP Jadwani was faith. Faith and patience and immense love. That still we keep on giving immense love, because your patient may not be able to express, but he understands everything. Every emotion is understood and connected by the patient. I would like to add that there's a lot of social stigma, which I've already told. In public, we don't have an atmosphere. Even if you want to take him for a evening walk or some garden, the patient is surrounded. There are multiple questions. So patient like my father, he asked you why they are asking so much. We just tell them, okay, you're looking like a hero or celebrity, and that's why they like you, and that's why they've come attached to you. First 5 months is very important. First 5 to 6 months, because generally that 20-30 days goes in ICU itself, recovery from ICU. The 30 days, if 5 months gives you maximum to maximum recovery, is the first 6 months. And out of the 9 issues what sir rightly handled, we could get hold of 4 to 5 on that, and still today on 3 years dot line, I'm still recovering. Now we are so overwhelmed. I would say we are so excited and greedy. Like now we want to keep our dad on. We want to take him to Dubai and Burj Khalifa and have a photograph of him on the tallest building of the world. The person on 4th May who was being sentenced or guideline ke his funeral is estimated at around 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock with 1% survival chance. And that person today is able to go to walks, enjoying his evening walks, he's listening to music, he's playing carom, he's he's singing. Everything is there if you have faith and patience. Patience is the most important thing. There will be small episode. There was a fracture involved. There was a hair dryer machine burn involved. My father couldn't even tell me that he's being burned by the ward boy, because he was so busy seeing his match. So he burned my father here. But it took time, because my father couldn't even say that he's burned so much. These episodes will happen. There will be a downfall, but you have to gather everything. Take one day at a time. I would always like to say that one day at a time. A very important role, I would say, is of my Mediclaim policies. Whoever is listening to me, whoever are in youngsters, they believe in investment, I would say always take a good Mediclaim policy from a professional who's having an office. Like in our case, all these things, it's a mammoth journey of 3 years. As rightly sir told, it's not a 3 months or a 6 months game. If anyone says you can 3 months, 6 months in massive stroke, it is totally wrong. In our case, the Mediclaims generally, I would say, always take from someone who's an established professional. Don't go for some relative a who's doing a secondary thing, or a just to meet the ends of life. Don't go for those policies, because Mediclaim policies and the post recovery cost is very high. In our case, all total expenses are done in ICU were recovered, and that helped me a lot in rehab. That's why I could do an intensive rehab of 4 months, which involved robotics, cognitive theory, playing of the cards. That time I wouldn't understand, okay, I'm coming here, they're just playing cards in you. But now today, when my father is playing cards at home, now I can understand how he got introduced again to that playing cards. So it's a very important thing: speech therapy, cognitive theory, and robotics. These ones I would like to share. The role of Mediclaim is a very important role. Dr. Abhishek Srivastav is a God-sent person for us. Definitely, like whenever we approach, even till today, our theories of rehab are going on, the exercise and all that. They are very well taken care of, sir. Even lightest of the exercise changes and all, it is being very well guided to us. The team of doctors really play a very important role. As sir tell, it's a teamwork from your ICU doctors to your rehab doctors, your neurologists, psychologists. At times, as a caregiver, also you feel down. If you feel down, if you feel emotionally low, one should cry it out. One should definitely cry it out. If one is emotionally down, one should cry it out. I would like to say, it means you shouldn't keep it to yourself and carry on the things. Some other things I would also like to highlight of our journey is, don't focus on the main problem. Generally what happens, if there is a stroke related thing, we focus on the main problem. What we did, we segmented the main problem. We just cut it, okay, this is a stroke is a problem. Now how this could be taken care of, we segmented it. Like we need good caregivers at home, okay, 12-hour shift. Then we need a good rehab. How rehab, in what exercises needed to be done, and good food, good protein rich food. So we divided one things, and one day at a time, and we can see the results. 3 years we are seeing the result we couldn't even expect when the word 1% was introduced to us in the ICU. Two things that have helped me coming here: one is faith, and second thing is knowledge. Scientific knowledge whenever you're introduced to new things, they may be a bit costly. They may be, having not proven results, but one should always go for those things. Many a times, like one sticker kind of medicine, it was given to, was recommended by sir. We went for it. There was some gluey things to be swallowed to check the things. We did that. We were 6 months. We were giving food to our father in the pipe, and one fine day, my sister went inside, and the food tray was kept. He took his hand and he started eating. It's like neuro is a second word of miracles. If you have to really see miracles, it's in neuro, but your faith plays a very important role in neuroscience. With this, I would like to add just 2 points: faith, love, patience, and continuous efforts. There will be episodes where you feel that the patient is not responding, he's having a bad day, he will not talk to you. There would be some other problem, but eventually, in total, if you are connected to your doctors, your therapies are regular, the results will be unbelievable. Till I can connect to that day of 4th May 2018, when I was firstly told that being a youngster, you shouldn't take this case seriously, let him go, tell him a goodbye. He will be a vegetable all your life. Your savings will dry up, but don't invest in him. Move on in life. Second thing was told more authoritatively when the second stroke happened in the ICU. Means the most safest place in world is ICU, and a person gets stroke in ICU itself. Like that day, I still remember I had taken shower 6 times a day. My mind was totally gone for a toss. I really didn't know what to do. Two strokes in ICU itself, one stroke and home, a massive stroke due to overuse of Ecosprin. Now I could conclude that because of Ecosprin, because as per prescriptions, the dose was over. He thought that it's just some few pills are left in the strip. Why not have it? But I would suggest when these kind of drugs are given, they should be given with a particular timings. How like Phenadil and these drugs, when they're given with a typical timing. 3 months, 6 months. After 6 months, if you want, you again go to a doctor. And for my father, it was just given to heal a boil, a small boil. 6 months, he ended up having Ecosprin for 7 to 8 months. And the first word I remember, Dr. Harshad Parekh was a neurosurgeon. When he came out of ICU after the craniotomy, I asked him, "Yes, sir, how was the operation?" He said, "Your father was on blood thinners because he's still bleeding now. Even after 14 hours of admission, he's still bleeding now. Everything is in God's hand." So I have nothing else to say about that. But till today, we celebrated every birthday. My father's birthday is on 30th September, but now we have shifted it to 5th May. And in a week's time, we will be again celebrating his third birthday. So nothing is impossible for a willing mind and a willing heart and teams of doctors. I have seen God in my doctors. Maybe Dr. Jadwani, the intensive, Dr. Sunanda Anand is our neurologist, Dr. Sharad Shena, who picked up my call. Sir was on holiday. If not being him telling to rush him to the hospital, we would have made my father sleep whole night, and the total game would have been different. And Dr. Abhishek Srivastava, finally the robotic man, I would say to sir, is like, I can't express him because I can see him on the screen, so I'm not able to express him. But I owe everything to you, sir. The person who I was told you will not be able to hear him, he'll not be able to come out of the bed, and we have proved everyone wrong. If you have a willing heart and mind, we definitely do it. And our next aim is to take my dad to Dubai on the tallest building of the world, Burj Khalifa, and get a photo of him. That's my target, and definitely I will achieve it.
Thank you, Mayur. And that is a very, very inspirational story. And the words that you said, faith and continuous effort, is something that should be in the Bible of every stroke survivor and stroke caregiver. With that, sir, thank you for patiently, standing by, waiting for the questions. There are a few in the chat box. The first question is, the person is himself a stroke survivor, and he says that he continues to have brain fog, which is like feeling confused every day, and it really dampens the confidence. So is it normal, or is there something that should be done about it?
So brain fog is a very general term. It means that he's having either some episodes of dizziness. One reason he can have, if it is continuous, he can have depressive features. So one is a cognitive issue, one is a behavioral issue, third is a medical issue. He should actually consult his treating physician, tell him the thing, and then we have to take it forward accordingly.
Okay, thank you. And then you talked about robotics, and we saw the pictures that you showed us, which is like state of art. But do any medical facilities of similar stature exist in the government setup? And if it's there, then which state would have it?
Many hospitals and government also have robotics now. Delhi have, Lucknow has, Dr. Gogia is here. Lucknow has robotics, Delhi has robotics, Bangalore has robotics, Calcutta has some robotic systems now, Chennai has robotic systems. It's coming up, and I believe in next couple of years you will have at least 30 centers in India having some form of robotic systems. Not have, some of them definitely being available there.
One of the things that I picked up when Mayur was relating his story, that he went from one end of Mumbai to another end searching for a rehab center because there was no, sort of source of information that could give him a place where everything is available under one roof. And I can see him raising his finger. So I'll just come.
I would like to,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll just
I
come
would
back.
like to, yeah, no problem.
So is there some kind of a place or a directory or a dictionary or some place where a patient who is searching for such information can look up?
So as such, in India, we don't have an organized system of healthcare. For something same thing happens in Europe or America. The insurance space. So in insurance space, they ensure that there's a system of care. In India, government spends only 10% on over healthcare. 90% is privatized primarily.
True.
That's why there is no comprehensive systems available. So you have to Google and search and see. That's the biggest problem in India. The whole healthcare is privatized. So there is no coordinated effort by one single body to provide continuity of care. That's why it is not accessible to everyone. And second, there is no dictionary available to see and open and take it forward.
So would you think that there is an opportunity here, sir? Because there are all these patient groups coming together, and if all of us could put together this, as some kind of a list that is available, so that patients can actually come and search for it, would
Yes,
that be very
there is
helpful?
there definitely a need for that. Definitely a need for that.
Thank you. And Mayur, you were saying something.
Yeah, I would like to just add 2, 3 suggestions as one of the points sir has also added to it. There should be a totally neuro dedicated hospital wherever it is like a concept can come up, maybe a 2-story building or a 3-story, like start to end the 7 or 8 team of doctors, as sir mentioned, it should be in one block, like from one end to another, everything is totally dedicated to neuro. And second, as sir rightly mentioned that point, that insurance doesn't cover the rehab and all that. That's one of the most the grace part of the insurance policies at the moment. Many people in 2 months, 3 months, 8 months, I had multiple times when I decided to give up, but some way or the other we generate energies connected to the eternal Lord and we move up. But 3 years, it's been a harder time, testing time, but the results what we get, it crumbles up everything.
There is one question, Dr. Srivastava, saying that in the case of a hemorrhagic stroke that completely affects the motor and sensory cortices of the right hemisphere, is it possible that the patient will not be able to feel emotions anymore?
Yeah, so right brain, the main frontal part of the brain, I showed in the slides also, the front part of the right brain controls primarily emotions and behavior. So there is a possibility that they will find difficulties in perceiving emotions. There's a possibility. There are words called as apathetic behavior. It can vary from simple to a high level of apathy. Medications play a role in that along with counseling.
There is a question for Mayur, and the person is asking that you said that the Mediclaim policy plays a very large role in managing the acute care, especially when the person is in the hospital and surgery or other intervention is
True.
required. So do you have any experience of which insurance would be the best choice, and is there some advice that you would like to give our caregivers?
Rather, I would suggest definitely there are many policies now. There are term policies which cover from 50 to 86 types of diseases and hospitalized. They even cover suicides nowadays. I'm surprised, but suicide is covered after 1 year of your policy time. But more than the policy, I would like to say that one should go through an agent who's a professional. That will help you because policy money doesn't come like it is written 7 days, money will come and all that. unless and until 4 to 5 months of paper correspondence, this signature, you never express it. It's a very tedious job. Till today, ma'am, it has been 3 years. My father has taken some of the policies. 3 years, we are still finding papers and we are putting up papers till now. As many as 7 to 8 thousand xeroxes we have done, but still the process is on and on and on and on. It's been 3 years for me. There are some accidental thing, and very important in your policies, always go through the fine print of riders. Many times we just see the policy and the amount. In this, I would like to mention one of my CA friend. He played a very important role when he came to just assist me in my business because my father was taking care of it. He went through the fine lines of the policy terms and all that. So practically the policy was just for 5 lakhs, but because of his sharp reading and all that, I could recover 16 lakh rupees. That played a very important role in my rehab process. Otherwise, the 56 days of hospitalization, then 4 months of rehab, every day going, every day coming, 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, with two staff, drivers, it drains the bestest of the human on earth. The bestest human on the earth will be drained. So I would
Okay.
suggest invest in a person who can just take you ahead from the policy.
Thank you. And so there is one question on Botox for you. What role does Botox play, and is it recommended for everyone?
Yeah, so Botox is botulinum toxin. It's a drug which we inject locally in the muscles, which becomes stiff because of stroke. People have spasticity or dystonia. The hand can be like this, elbow can be like this, hip can be bent, ankle can be up. If you have some contractures, then robotics, then Botox can be given locally in the muscle, make it loose. Once we give Botox, it works for 3 months. And then depending upon the outcome, you might require it again, you might not require it again. But it's a very important drug to reduce spasticity in stroke patients.
So it's not recommended for everyone. It has to be a case by case.
It's case by case, and it's to given by the. It's not a nomination given by a nurse IV. It's
Yeah, yeah.
given by a physician. We have to give it ourselves in a specific muscle if it is causing a problem.
Then there is somebody who is asking, are there exercises and therapies that will be helpful for stroke patients at home? And he says, he or she, I think it's a she says that her father was a stroke patient, and it has been more than 1 year that he's not able to talk. And also, he used to eat with his left hand as his right hand is affected. So, how can that be changed?
First thing is speech. Remember, if someone is right hand dominant, left brain is the dominant brain.
Yes.
If you have left sided stroke, you cannot talk. The same part in the right brain, it's somewhere this area, if you can see
Yeah.
this part. This part, the right brain, God has made some arrangement. This part is not being used much, and this can take over function.
Oh,
People can speak after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, also like my father has spoken. The movement recovery plateaus by 6, 7 months. You don't get new movements to come out of 6 months. But you have some movement, it can come to 2 years also if you have. But the speech can improve slowly after longer period of time. That will require both speech therapy as well as medication, a combination of both. Speech therapy.
okay.
Regarding the
And
movement-
then,
regarding the movements, if one hand doesn't have power, by just by intuition, you start using the other hand.
true, true.
Now, what happens with time? Some power comes, but you don't use it. So you
Mm.
have to purposefully start using the involved extremity, how much you can do. More you do, more movement will come, more they can start using the hand.
So there's one question which says, can a stroke survivor live 100% healthy life ever, or is 100% recovery possible?
So recovery depends upon the extent of brain damage. There are three basic factors for recovery. First is the extent of brain damage. Second, age, how much brain can change. And
Mm.
third, when you start rehab.
Okay.
So if you are 80 years at 1 year, chances is less. If you have 80 years, mild stroke, 6 months, chances are good. If you are 10 years, massive stroke, 3 months, chances are good. So it's mix and match of these three key parameters.
Thank you. And then there's a question on baclofen pump. Is it beneficial?
So baclofen pump is a pump which we put in in the anti-abdominal area, and a small tube goes from inside to the spine, where a drug called as baclofen, which you take orally, we can give 1,000 times lesser dose. So it has no side effects, but can be directly given into the spinal canal and it goes via fluid to the brain. It is given for treatment of severe spasticity in lower limbs. It is very beneficial to people who have very bad spasms in lower limbs. They can't shift, they can't turn, the legs are bent like that, they can't walk. So if the severe spasticity is interfering and the medical management is not enough, then baclofen pump, intrathecal pump is a very good option.
And is it available at many centers in India, or are there only specialized centers?
I think it is available at more than 50 centers in India.
Then there are several questions on how people can reach out to you. So if there is some way of sharing who they should reach out in your hospital or how they should connect with you, then we will share it in the chat box. And also a question on teleconsultation. Is teleconsultation possible?
Yeah, both are possible. Just see the hospital website, www.kokilabinhospital.in.
Okay. And you can directly book an appointment from there?
Yeah, they can.
Okay, thank you. And there is one patient who says he has serious memory issues due to bacterial meningitis after stroke. Is there any particular treatment for that?
Yeah, so first we have to do a cognitive assessment to understand memory is one part of cognition. There's attention, concentration, thinking, memory, planning. We have to first assess on a standard scale and battery. Then we need two things. One is called as cognitive rehabilitation, where you have to learn both to remediate as well as compensate with the help of training. So can we make your memory better, or should we teach you alternative strategies to compensate for memory loss? Both things go hand in hand, plus some medications which are which are cholinergic medications. Specific chemical works in the memory pathways. That medication can be added along with cognitive rehab.
Thank you, sir. And the most popular question of our sessions, can stroke patients be vaccinated? Especially
Yes,
if they're on blood
every
thinner.
patient who has a stroke should be vaccinated. I have right now 30 patients with me indoor. We have vaccinated all of them who are 1 month post-stroke. We should vaccinate every stroke patient.
Okay, so that is the message, that everyone can be vaccinated and it is safe.
Yeah, it is safe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you to all our participants who have joined us today. You can hear this, in our website or on Facebook, because this has been captured on Facebook Live. Thank you once again, sir. Thank you, Advocate Mayur Mehta. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.